most part, all the Canes did. Everybody except two players, Stahl and Gostisbehere, had a shot on goal in this game. I didn't think they did anything too fancy, Tone. I thought they played physical, straight line hockey. We know they're very aggressive. That's what they love to do under Rod Brind'Amour. It can be taxing, but the way that they played in this game, they took advantage of a Devils team I felt that just didn't have their game, didn't have their legs in this one. I thought it was very obvious, and I know you get to it. I couldn't agree more with the coach about the second period.
We got to talk about that. Sheldon Keefe, very candid about that. It wasn't good enough. His words, what happened?
It was just the aggressive mindset of the Carolina Hurricanes taking it to the New Jersey Devils. Look at the second period. The numbers strikingly in favor of Carolina. The puck in the O-zone tells a big story. Obviously, shots do, and then the slot driving play. They're right there, middle of the ice. We saw all of their guys get themselves in front. Well, heck, we saw it in the first period when Carrier got to the front, keeping the big goaltender Markstrom back deep in his crease, which is what you have to do. But look at where the point of attack was. The point of attack was regularly below the dot, if not even below the bottom of the circle. The way that Carolina was really forcing plays off the forecheck. F1 aggressive, F2 coming in, helping out, being that ultra-aggressive team that Carolina wants to be. We know they like to play man-on-man in their own zone. When they were forced to play in their own zone, they did that nice because they had their legs again. But for the most part, as those numbers showed, especially at even strength, the game was played in the offensive zone for Carolina.
Rod Brind'Amour's teams, we know what we're going to get, and they brought that today. For the Devils, Nico Hischier gets that goal in a 4-on-4 situation. In terms of offensive production, and everybody's aware of the absence of Jack Hughes and what that means, how do the Devils respond offensively in Game 2?
How do they respond? Okay. They got to find their game. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but sometimes you're not going to have your game. You don't want to have in Game 1 of the playoffs, but it's a 7-game series, not a 1-game series. All right, cliche 101, right? We know that. So what do they need to do? They need to start holding on to the puck a little bit more, too. They need to get guys, Timo Meier we saw there, right? He got stoned by Anderson. Would have made it 3-2 there. That type of goal you need to bury when it's all said and done. You need to get other guys involved more. I think the issue that they might have is handling the forecheck pressure from Carolina. So your offense, if you're New Jersey, can't start in the neutral zone. You need to get the puck up. So it's really going to be the defense is going to have to get more help from the forwards on the back check, kind of screening, helping, guiding, et cetera, whatever you want to call it, better breakouts. But the D need to get to the puck quicker and eliminate the forecheck as much as possible from Carolina, because that's what they're really good at.
The Canes' pressure was remarkable, and the guy that can tell you about it, Jacob Markstrom, he was near 40 saves 2 periods in, and he was under fire but handled it well.
He's good. He was real good. I mean, again, he's a big man, and laterally he moves incredibly well. This is a guy that hasn't been in the playoffs for a couple of years, but here's the guy. This is the kind of goalie that Fitzgerald went out to get for moments like this. He needs some help from his team. They need to be better again with the puck. They need to move it quicker, and then they should eliminate some. But let's not forget, this is a shot volume team in Carolina, so he's prepared for it. But I'd like to, if you're a New Jersey fan, you're like, let's stay away from the 40 plus. Let's keep it in the 32 to 33, 34, and that's good. That would be real good. But I liked what I saw out of him an awful lot there. You could tell they were kind of trying to shoot up high on him a bit. That's where more of the goals have gone on him over the course of the season. But overall, I really, really liked how he played in this one for New Jersey.
Devils fans understand it's a battle of attrition, playoff hockey, so physical. Mike Rupp, who scored the 0-3 Cup clincher, says you invest in the series, and that means hitting and creating a physical cumulative impact. Having said that, 3 Devs go down at the one point. When Luke Hughes skated off the ice, it did not look good at all. Here it is. Players injured in Game 1. This board, Devils fans, not thrilled to see it.
Well, except you're right. For the middle one, returned. Thrilled.
Huge.
To see it. The one that also concerns me a lot on the back end is Dylan, because he's a glue guy back there.
Yes.
And he is strong. He's got attitude. He is tough. He is everything you want in that kind of shutdown style defenseman. You need his size. You need his DNA out there.
Presence.
Yeah, exactly. Great word. You need that presence of his out there. So We'll have to wait and see what happens about him. Major loss if he can. They're already without Siegenthaler.
Yeah.
And they miss that stoic, stay-at-home type guy. And you saw there's some big guys, the Robinsons, the Svechnikov, the Stalls, etc. And they need a guy like Dylan out there to help combat that. So you cannot be happy. There's a big gulp, so to speak, when you're looking at that board and you're saying, okay, thankfully we got Hughes back, but we need the other two, and in particular, you need Cody Glass. No, Glass you need as well, but you really need Dylan on the back end.
Bang on point. Dylan, second most blocks on the team. That's his game. That's who he is. Break time. When we come back on NHL Tonight, the Women's World Championship gold medal game. Team USA, Team Canada. It was a dandy. Don't move.
Oh, and I need these items printed with our logo by Friday.
Certainly.
Are you for imprint certain?
Well, we are for imprint.
Certainty matters, like the certainty of finding the perfect promo gear for gifting at 4imprint. Exclusive items and quality brands to wow your clients, your customers, and your team. Delivered on time. Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now.
4imprint, for certain.
Is your car's plastic trim faded and milky? Don't worry. Cerakote's ceramic trim coat restores oxidized trim effortlessly. Just wipe it on. It's guaranteed for 200 washes. Even dust won't stick to it. Keep your car looking professional. Selling your oxidized, faded trim car? Detailed cars sell for way more than faded cars. Read the thousands of 5-star reviews for yourself. Buy any of Cerakote's #1 selling ceramic products for under $20 at these leading retailers today.
Jack's got his spring lineup dialed in. His secret? The Tech Shorts by Jack Archer. Engineered for action, tailored for greatness, with a fit that's designed to move with you. From the first tee to the last round. Water resistant, because life happens. So go ahead, chase what matters. These shorts won't hold you back. Flowers, secured. Table, reserved. That second glance, earned. The Tech Shorts from Jack Archer. Get 15% off your first purchase at jackarcher.com/TV.
It will always bring us together. It might even surprise us. But more often than not, it's a daily commitment. Not again! Of believing. Of dreaming. And trusting that no matter where you are, it's with you.
In the playoffs, every little play matters. The intensity just ramps up. You're putting your body on the line. Every hit, every shot, every save just means a little bit more.
To go deep in the playoffs takes a lot of grit, a lot of sacrifice, and obviously a little bit of luck.
Women's World Championship across the pond. Team USA, Team Canada, they needed OT. Highlights.
Canada, the United States, gold is on the line. Pass, looking to make a play off of it. Davian will hold there as the puck's loose here. A chance for Harvey. She lets it go, and she scores. The arm parts out, and she's ready to phone home. It's 1-0 USA.
Backhand to forehand, and then she goes top shelf.
Her third straight gold medal game where she has scored a goal. Last year and the year prior, it was a tying goal. And one other goal here for USA. It's 2-0 for the United States. Abby Murphy, how did she do it?
And that's going to be her third of the tournament.
She'll look to make a wraparound play. Frankel will hug her post. Up high, Serdachny shot, she scores! Serdachny does it again! A critical goal against the United States. Look no further than to Danielle Serdachny, her second of the tournament. In regulation for Canada to give them some life. USA, chance here, it's Gardner! The Victoire find a way in the final, and we're tied at 2.
What a pass, a lefty to Gardner. Gardner with the presence of mind not to come in that scrum.
To the power play for the United States, a 5-on-3. It's a tie game, 2-2 in the third period. Heisey, her shot, she scores! Taylor Heisey picks the corner, and the United States takes the lead.
She picks the corner. She had 0 shots coming into this third period. Well, she makes it count.
Emily Clark for Canada has some room deep in the zone. Cuts back in front. Phillips makes the stop. The puck's loose. Villiers sends it on net. They score! Canada finds a way. It's 3-3. Sarah Villiers leading the charge. Steps up for Canada to tie this game.
Sarah Villiers is going to go for a change. And that's a tough one.
A chance here for Heisey. Her shot. She scores! Tessa Janicki, your golden hero in Czechia. The United States world champions in Czechia. The Golden Stick, someone taking home a very nice piece of history. And the Americans are on top.
For the 11th time, Team USA wins the World Championship gold. 5th consecutive gold medal game to feature these two proud countries. The game-winning goal assisted by Taylor Heisey. Remember, Heisey had the goal that put Team USA up. Then Fillier responds. This was like a Rocky movie, Jeff.
Doesn't it? Back
and forth. And when it's these two teams, you see their absolute best effort every single time. It comes down to such a slim margin.
Yeah, we know these are the two best teams in the world. But they never get tired of playing each other, and it does elevate. It was not a great change in that last shift, that last goal for Team Canada. They waited. We only showed you a little bit of the highlight there. They had a couple of times to change, and then that one change, it was just it was poor. That's when it's all said and done, and it leads to wide open space for Heisey to go with the pass back door, and it makes a champion out of Team USA. Always fun to watch. So saw the highlights, love it. So great stuff.
It means so much, and the old saying is familiarity breeds contempt. There's a lot of respect there and a lot of contempt. What a game it was. Congrats to the red, white, and blue. When we continue on NHL Tonight, big stars getting ready to go. Monday series, our focus straight ahead.
Nothing scary about Energizer Ultimate Lithium, the #1 longest-lasting AA battery.
The all-new Infiniti QX80, a 450 horsepower twin-turbo beast of luxury.
Invest in an Infiniti without new tariffs during the Once in a Springtime event.
My name is Mike Hammond, founder of Cigna Relief. Much of my career has been working in construction. I love outdoors and horses. That active lifestyle is what has caused my body to hurt. I didn't want to let this affect my family or my life, and that's what motivated me to create a team to build the Cigna Relief Patch, clinically proven to reduce the impact of pain. The patch is a game changer. No creams, no pills, no wires. The patch is reusable, and there's a real money-back guarantee. Whether it's your neck, back, knee, shoulder, or just aches and pains, this patch can give you your life back. When I gave my best friend a patch with tears in his eyes, he said it was the first time in 16 years he did not hurt. Join the hundreds of thousands who found relief. I'm asking you to try the Cigna Relief Patch today by going to our website. If you're thinking about buying, it means you need one. You have nothing to lose. I promise the patch works.
You missed his turn at the piñata because you were busy not missing hockey. Watch in-game highlights, stories, and post-game recaps only with the NHL app.
Everybody's waiting for $8.95.
Ovechkin has it, he scores! The chasing days are done! There's a new goal-scoring champion, and his name is Alexander Ovechkin!
Monday, more playoff hockey and some game ones to look forward to. Canadiens, Capitals. The coach, Spencer Carberry, was asked about Alexi Protas, the team waiting to get him back. He had a marvelous regular season.
I think there's a strong argument that he has had the best or the most improved season out of any player in the National Hockey League. He can go anywhere inside of your lineup or use his size and speed. The progression and the growth from a young player back in Hershey to where he is now, it's leaps and bounds of how much growth you've seen from him, and he's a huge part of our team.
Well, what's your plan and goal going into this first?
You will find out tomorrow night.
We will find out tomorrow night. How about this story, though? Logan Thompson, who had that incredible record, he missed this last stretch of games, and Lindgren did not post the best numbers. What do you think?
Just a guess. My guess is that Logan Thompson plays in game one.
I agree with that.
It should be ready for it. But also down the stretch, the Caps didn't have tons to play for when it was
Great
all
chase,
said and done.
all that, sure.
Exactly, everything. And once that finished, and not that they fizzled by any stretch, but it was like, okay, let's get through this because we need a big reset. And they do need a big reset because what an amazing regular season they had and what a great run with Ovechkin that they had helped fuel them. But now you got to wash all that away. And now playoff hockey real different. And everybody's gone in form. I expect Thompson to play. He brought up Alexi Protas right there. I'm not so sure. It doesn't feel like he just skated a little bit on Sunday and in a non-contact jersey, not with the regular practice. He had a fantastic season, 30 goals. However, I don't know. If they don't have him, he's a big loss for them. He's the playoff type of player, especially his size.
Habs Caps 2010 was one of the great playoff series.
Awesome.
Remarkable.
Yes.
Last year was the Kings and the Oilers, and the year before that, and the year before that. For the fourth straight year, these teams meeting, Oil fans loved it. They had home ice each year, and they won. Progressively fewer games, 7, then 6, then 5. This year, though, Jack, the Kings have home ice advantage, and they were the very best team in the National Hockey League at home.
They were, and we wanted to show you some players, not just their home numbers where they, won just about every night. They're just 5 regulation losses. But how about, let's give you some concrete numbers on players. Kemper, look at that numbers at home. 20 out of 25 decisions, 20 wins at home compared to just 11 on the road. Quentin Byfield, who had a real big-time season, really kind of blossomed right before our very eyes. You look at those numbers. And Warren Fogle, a player brought in the offseason, former Oiler, exactly. And, I mean, these are the kind of guys that obviously felt more comfortable at home. They got good matchups at home. They did more quality things at home. I think home ice will be a big advantage for the Kings in this one.
When the Kings won the Stanley Cup in 12 and 14, Jonathan Quick was in net. Earmuff it, Kings fans, the last series they won, the 2014 Stanley Cup final. It's been a while. They're due. What a great day this was. In the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoffs, 3 games. Tomorrow, 4. Enjoy them. Thanks for watching NHL Tonight.
The playoffs are a time to sharpen your focus and get your game face on.
In the playoffs, it's such a vacuum and you're so focused.
Get your game face on. NHL Now playoff coverage. Weekdays 5 Eastern on NHL Network.
When my hair started thinning, I wanted to attack the problem head on. I chose Nutrafol because it was drug-free, which meant a lot because I didn't want the side effects. My thicker hair gave a huge boost to my social life, and I really feel the best I ever have.
From the time you're born, a gland in your brain produces growth hormone. It's what makes you stay powerful, build strong muscles, and feel energetic. Unfortunately, around the age of 20, your body starts producing less GH, and by the time you're in your 40s and 50s, it's much harder to stay energetic, strong, and build muscles. But what if there was a way to tell your body to get back to work and boost your GH levels again? New Nugenix GH Boost uses an amino acid and botanical blend clinically demonstrated to help your body boost its own GH levels more than 100%. Text TORCH to 215215 to get your complimentary sample of Nugenix GH Boost. You'll get the boost you need to sculpt a stronger, more powerful body that is sure to turn heads. Get back to work with new Nugenix GH Boost, now in tablet form. Text TORCH to 215215 to get a complimentary sample of Nugenix GH Boost. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge is back. Oh, yeah, baby! And now it's time to take your shot. Face off against family and friends and see if you can predict this year's playoffs. Can you pick the perfect bracket and claim the ultimate prize? A trip to a 2025-26 NHL event. Sign up today for a chance to win exclusive prizes at NHL.com/bracket.
How are the kids?
Oh, they're fine.
Wife?
Ex-wife.
I gotta deliver some bad news. You're fired.
What? I just need to know how long I can float on what I got.
6 months.
Rich guy loses his job, turns to petty crime. That's stupidity.
Maybe it's just desperation.
It was your job to fight for Mom, for us.
How did everything go so wrong? so fast.
While a well-timed check can save a game,
Oh my goodness gracious.
a well-timed body check can save your life.
AstraZeneca and the NHL are teaming up against cancer. Together, we can stay ahead of cancer with a simple conversation. Talk with your doctor about your risk factors.
And about available cancer screenings that are right for you.
It's time to make the ultimate defensive play and get body checked against cancer.
AstraZeneca is the official partner of Hockey Fights Cancer.
This isn't just a hockey stick. In fact, it's more than you could ever imagine. It can be the ultimate sign of respect, or it can be the cause for celebration. It can be passion, pain, joy, opportunity, or a love that lasts forever. So no, this isn't just a hockey stick. It's everything.
Here's a look at the top 10 plays from this season in the NHL.
Unbelievable talent. Makes a great pass. Here's Yuko Valimaki right back in front. Oh, what a save! UC Soros! Absolute robbery! How did he do it?
And look at Saros track this off the pad. And he freezes it and catches it right on his mask. Look at him find that puck. And Schmaltz can't believe it.
2 this year. Here's Nyes to Matthews. Drop for Marner to the net. And scores! 18 seconds into the third. Some magic from Mitch Marner.
Nice pass by Matthews. Good edge work there by Marner. The shot gets blocked on the little backhand and goes right off him and in.
Alex Johnston goes low. Nice move. Score! Matt Duchene. A gorgeous move. Beautiful hands in tight. And a power play goal doubles the lead. Just wait till you see this. Knocked it away from Frost, and now Draisaitl races toward the net. Shoots and scores, and we are tied. That's 50. Leon Draisaitl, the equalizer. 50 goals for the league's leading goal scorer.
4 times the 50 now for Leon Draisaitl. The second time he scored against the Calgary Flames.
Byfield has the only Kings goal. It came early in the game off the draw. Eberle, rebound, Schwartz is robbed. Kemper.
This is the save of go in the air. I mean, that's an empty net, right? It's a wide open net. Now the fans are reacting to it. Reaching behind, Darcy says no. Into the zone. Finds McCarr back down deep. Kyle McCarr! You've got to be kidding me. A highlight reel goal. That's one of the best you'll see this season in the NHL. And the Avs have tied the game at 2. For McCarr, it's his 16th, and that was ridiculous. Backhand, forehand again. Top shelf over the glove. As McCarr bails into the backboards. Boy, the coordination it takes to do that at top speed. Just a little more Cale McCarr magic. 3-0 lead. Here's Brady Shea, partially blocked, moving in Blankenberg, and that's knocked down and kept out. What a save by Quick. Quick didn't give up and reaches around with his stick.
That's a great example, never giving up on it.
He does a 360 with his stick. Oh, what a save. You know, Sam, I don't think the fans here really got a good look at that.
No, I don't think they realized that he did that.
That's as good a save as we've seen this year.
He stays with it, wins the puck back. Dance off for Brian Rust. Now Crosby dropped off. Malkin's shot block. Got it again right there, and they score! It's Brian Rust on the power play. And Pittsburgh has got back within 1. And Sidney Crosby just picked up point number 1,600 of his illustrious career.
Here's a pass, Ovechkin scores! The Great 8 stands side by side with the Great 1.
Trying to force it till he's open.
Here's Ovechkin, shoots, he scores! He scores! Number 895! The Great 8 is the greatest goal scorer in National Hockey League history.
This is Cassie. She never really paid attention to her credit scores until she got Credit Karma and used her scores to score more. Like a great rate on an auto loan or some more reliable wheels. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on. Download the app today.
Businesses start small, but a lot of them take off. As your business grows, ShipStation grows with you. So you can sync and manage all your orders, no matter how big you get. ShipStation's custom automations maximize your team's time. Plus, you get more carrier options at the lowest possible rates. Keep your business growing. Head to ShipStation.com to start your free trial today.
After Homoglow cleaned our place for $19, we fired our old housekeeper. Homoglow tackled everything, from our kitchen to our bathroom, all our laundry. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19.
The Harry's team found 3 regular guys.
A good shave shapes the day in a way.
And had them try Harry's for the first time.
This line right here, the flex hinge just went like...
Wow, yeah, that feels expensive.
Then we had them guess the price of an 8-pack of refill cartridges.
40. I was going to say 27. 35.
An 8-pack of Harry's cartridges is $17.
Wow. I have to switch razors.
Guys who know a good shave can now get a great deal. Get your trial set for $7 at harrys.com/shaving.
Poshmark is the perfect side hustle. It got me through school, a new job, and getting into my first apartment. There's so much I can sell. And now listing is even easier with Poshmark's SmartList AI feature. I just take a pic and let SmartList do the rest. I love it.
We want to go deep with these guys.
It all came out of me in that moment.
Pre-game with the players before the pucks drop. NHL Now, only on NHL Network.
Saturdays, it's hockey like you've never seen before. Welcome to the NHL Hockeyverse. It's the place where real data of NHL action is transformed, literally, into animations. Combining NHL Edge puck and player tracking data with animations to show hockey like never before.
Let's go inside the helmet.
That's right. This is no video game. The NHL Hockeyverse Matchup of the Week on NHL Network. That is old-time hockey right there. Building is buzzing at the moment. A highlight reel goal!
Are you watching this? Welcome to the excitement of NHL tonight. Tony Luffman, Billy Jaffe, and Billy is wearing the ideal tie for Easter. Happy Easter Sunday to one and all.
Happy to everybody.
And it's a great day to be an NHL fan. You had 3 playoff games. We started in the afternoon. And the late one was a dandy because so many subplots. Obviously, the 2023 Cup champs, but Zeev Buium. We've seen Cale Makar burst on the scene. It took him about 40 seconds to become Cale Makar, scoring in his debut and looking great against that Flames team. For Zeev Buium, a lot of hype coming in on this very network. He won 2 gold medals for Team USA at the World Juniors. Talented player making his debut in this one.
Yeah, incredibly talented. A lot of expectations there.
A lot.
Yet they waited. You know, he didn't play the last regular season game. They waited to give him this opportunity. Just welcome to the NHL, kid.
Go get him.
But he's got a lot of confidence, and he is such an example of these great young defensemen we have that are changing the style of the game, the way the game is played. With that said, this is a tough task going against one of the best, if not arguably the best, defensive crew in the National Hockey League with regard to the Vegas Golden Knights, their size and their structure.
And we go to the highlights, perfectly set up by Jeff. The aforementioned Zeev Buium ready to face a Vegas Golden Knights team that is followed by rabidly passionate fans. There he is, rookie Lap, the most confident human I've met before his first NHL game, Zeev Buium. First period, 5 minutes gone by, and here come the Wild on the attack. Adin Hill had to be ready and sharp.
I really like the game that Hill played, but also that Hartman did. He was around the puck, around the net an awful lot. Sign of things to come in this game.
Just under 8 to go. How about that skating by Shea Theodore? He can move.
Cutback move to the middle of the ice. Gustafsson, though, with real good top of the crease set, and he's able to make the save.
Tomas Hertl had 32 goals in the regular season. That's really impressive, that shot.
Well, it's strength of the stick, right? He picks the stick of Brock Faber right there, and then he turns and fires. Now, Gustafsson is down, and he gets beat past the right ear. Tight shot. Great quick elevation.
So it's a 1-0 score, under 2.5 to go. Kaprizov sets up. Boldy, 1-1.
What a play. You know, you end up getting the puck wide, the Kaprizov. It's the slap pass. We see Kucherov do it a lot. We know that Kaprizov can do it. This is spectacular. Boldy gets it on his strong side. And you know what he doesn't do, Tone? He doesn't stick handle the puck at all. Gets rid of it immediately. Beats Hill. And Minnie's on the board.
This was a tough moment to watch. Stephen Walkom's official do a marvelous job. This, Brian Pancic, he was helped off the ice, and Frederic Lecuyer came on.
A referee not wearing the armbands, going out to do what he's got to do to help his teammates out.
And the Vegas Golden Knights get help here. Brandon Saad, breakaway, ping, and out.
Breakaway, Brandon Saad may have caught the shoulder, too, there of the goaltender, Gustafsson.
And a penalty. High sticking Joel Eriksson-Ek on Alex Pietrangelo, so we go to the PP, and it does not last long. Shea Theodore moving. Dorofeev sweeping. 2-1.
Well, all Dorofeev did in the regular season was score and score a lot. Here he ends up scoring. But this is really about the pass from Shea Theodore. Absolutely freezes everybody wearing a white sweater. Keeps that lane wide open for Dorofeev. A ton of net as Gustafsson doesn't pick up where the puck is either.
Still 2-1, and here comes Jack Eichel. Breakaway. Gustafsson, big save.
Huge save. Almost like Eichel couldn't believe it at first that he was so open on that breakaway. Maybe he thought hesitation, am I onside or not? Goes to the backhand, though. Gus makes the nice save.
Third period. Howden. Yes, sir. 3-1.
How you doing is what Howden says there. Howden, one of 13 skaters with 10 or more goals for Vegas Golden Knights, is going to get a beautiful breakout. The speed here, Tony, middle ice distribution of the puck keeps the gaps wide. Bogosian cannot close. And for the second goal of this game, he gets beat, Gustafsson that is, on that blocker side high.
But the Wild would keep coming. Almost 6 minutes into period 3, Gustafsson tangled up behind the net. Brandon Saad and Gustafsson swimming, but the puck does not get by him. Bogosian there to help.
And this is a good read by 23 White. Watch Rossi there. The young centerman's going to come to help support, and he's going to be there along with the defenseman Bogosian to help seal that crease area.
Kirill Kaprizov sets up. Matt Boldy. It's a one-goal game.
Puck caroms perfectly to Boldy. I thought Boldy had a heck of a game in this one, too. He was, all over. Shot attempts, ends up scoring 2 goals in this game, backhands it in, and who's in front of the net again? 38, Hartman. Again, I thought he was very noticeable all game long.
Noah Hanifin doing his best to try and keep that out. It ricocheted off of him. So it's a 3-2 score. Final seconds, and in Vegas, this is important. Howden just before the horn. So the final count 4-2, but we know this was a one-shot game until literally the final hundredths of a second. Vegas takes game 1, but this was some battle. We love that about the playoffs, the competitive balance. And Adin Hill, same man who wore the Larry Johnson jersey when they had the parade in 2023, the Vegas Golden Knights have that championship DNA. Let's hear from Howden. 2 goals in the win. Post-game.
Maybe a little nerves just to get game 1 going, just the build-up leading to it. I thought we settled in well. I think it took us a few minutes in the first to kind of find our legs and get going, but something to build off of, and we're happy with game 1. It's an extra level in playoffs, but our group has been here before, and I feel like we're a very composed team. So goes to show the leadership of our group.
Yeah, He's been unbelievable. He's got that unreal speed, and he just gets that release off quick. He's surprising goalies, and got I think if they give him that second one, he'll have 2 tonight, but we'll see what happens there. But great shot by him, short side there.
Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously losing never feels good, but it was something I've dreamt of my entire life, so it was pretty special. As the game went on, I felt a lot better, and kind of the nerves settled down, and you're just playing hockey at that point. So I think for sure, the more I play, and the more comfortable I get, the better it'll be.
I think you have to play the game that's there, and tonight it was a strong 5-on-5 game by both teams. So at the same time, both teams are pretty disciplined. I think they're the least penalized team. We're 8, in the regular season. So I think that's a big part of it as well.
Classy stuff there from Brett Howden.
Quite the involved game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really all over the place. He started his career as a New York Ranger. He had 16 goals in his 3 seasons as a Ranger. This year, regular season, 23 goals. 2 in this one. And Jaff, you pointed out the scoring balance of the Vegas Golden Knights. Yep. A lot of guys with double-digit goals. We always hear it's the ultimate team sport. You need depth in the playoffs. Vegas has that depth.
Well, that ain't no question about it. You go back to when they won the Cup a few years ago, we lauded their fourth line. Again, I thought their fourth line was really good tonight at times. They've got a lot of offense. They got rid of a lot of offense after last year, and people thought maybe it wouldn't be as stout. In fact, it was more robust this year. I really love that breakaway, or that breakout, that leads to the 3-on-2. And the speed, as you get the puck to the middle, you distribute it wide, it makes the D really hard to gap up there. Again, Bogosian couldn't do it. A short side goal. There was 2 short side goals in the game. That one was lower. The other one earlier in the game, the Hertl one, Tomas Hertl, by the way. Tomas Hertl's 2 points in this game. He looks really comfortable all this year. And if he's going to score in the playoffs, watch out. There's more for them, too, in Vegas. But he went upstairs on Gustafsson. He went down to that reverse VH, probably a little too quick there, but he tucked it right by the ear. But overall, I just like the way that this Vegas team played. I thought they respected the game. It was interesting. Brett Howden said maybe some nerves early on. It goes to prove that even though one of the best teams in the league is in the playoffs, getting home ice and everything for most, not all, but most of the playoffs, they're still nervous about it. And they went in there and they still played. I thought overall, I thought this was an excellent game. I really did. Best game of the day, in my opinion. Yep. Yeah, from both teams. I thought it was a composed game, a smart game, and I thought it was a fun game to watch. And I'm sure both teams are saying, hey, we played well, but we can both play better in game 2.
And there are guys that played in this game that already have their names on the cup. We watched the goal, and Shea Theodore, you made the observation at the time, boy, he really created something there. That guy can skate, and that's a weapon. It is a weapon. This, the way that he moves the puck is just outstanding on this goal. Take a look at this, folks. Theodore is going to come to the middle of the ice, utilizing his speed, his footwork, and he draws everybody to him. Foligno has got to respect him. Look at his head up. He doesn't turn until the last second, and then he just absolutely makes a gorgeous pass from the middle of the ice over to fellow lefty Pavel Dorofeev, and Dorofeev has got so much room, not just space to shoot, but the net is open there because Gustafsson, looking at the player in Theodore, his head's focused like he's going to shoot. His body's focused like he's going to shoot until the last possible second when he comes down, brings it back, and goes right over. Everybody is looking at Shea Theodore. We were all looking at Shea Theodore. Pavel Dorofeev gets it there, and what a season that he's had this year. And he did not play much in the playoffs the last couple of years. In fact, 2 years ago, not at all. Scratched every game last year, very little. Be very curious to see. I think this year he's going to play a ton, will Pavel Dorofeev. And you take a look at most playoff assists in history. Shea Theodore, one of the prettiest ones, I'm sure, that he's had in his career as a Golden Knight. It was gorgeous. And Dorofeev, the beneficiary, the goal scorer, top goal scorer this season. Plenty of run support, always key for a goaltender. 4 goals on the board for the Golden Knights, certainly appreciated by Adin Hill. Let's hear his post-game thoughts.
And excitement measure up to the playoff hockey you remember?
It was a fun game out there. Tight checking both ways. A few less penalties than normal. Some of the stuff happened out there, but no, it was a good hockey game, and glad that we got the win in game 1.
How'd your game feel?
Felt good. Our team had a great game tonight, I thought. We put the pressure on them. We had a couple other chances that almost ended up in the net. And, just looking forward to Tuesday and getting game 2 going.
You saw it all regular season, and then he was a difference maker tonight. What have you seen out of Brett Howden this season?
Yeah, he's He's been unbelievable. He's got that unreal speed, and he just gets that release off quick. He's surprising goalies, and I think if they give him that second one, he'll have 2 tonight, but we'll see what happens there. But great shot by him short side there.
What'd you learn about the challenges Minnesota is going to present as the series goes on, particularly that top line?
They're a dynamic line. They got a lot of good players on that team. So, I just got to be ready for the skill plays that they can make, and they get a lot of traffic and tips to the net. So, I just got to do my part.
Congrats on the win, Aiden. Thanks for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So game 1 goes to the Vegas Golden Knights. Watching this alongside you, you really appreciated the way the Wild play. What did you like the most?
Well, I liked how intense they were physically. What did you say? They doubled them in hits.
Pretty
they had
much.
over 50 in the game. I think it's the second most hits they've ever had in a playoff game recorded. And hits can be subjective, rink to rink, but they were physical in this game. They were finishing on the forecheck regularly. I thought they played a very, very structured game with regard to getting involved. They didn't try to do too much with the puck for the most part in this one. And I just liked the way that they came out and looked to me. They didn't look like a team who made the playoffs the last game of the season. They looked like a team that said, okay,
belonged.
Yeah, that we belonged here. We know that we've had some guys in Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov that have been out. All right, we had to get in, but we did. And now we know, not we hope, we know that we can play with Vegas. I felt like they played with them. There's no question about it that they looked like they belonged in that game. And again, I like the physical intensity that they brought. All of them, not just their hitting guys. All guys were involved. Skilled guys, too, were involved in the physical part of it.
Before Kaprizov got hurt, he was in the discussion for the Hart Trophy. And Matt Boldy, boy, did he perform. Big-time opportunity, he seized it.
He does. A great athlete, kid from Massachusetts, played his youth hockey with the Boston Junior Eagles. You kind of know that pretty well. Wonderful kid. I've gotten to know him just a little bit. And just the way that, he's gracious with his time and his skill. You can see the way he kind of moves out there, slides around, great release, hunts the puck, finds it, does some really good stuff with it. Had a big night in this one. Going to have to continue being very high level for this team to have a chance. He was good. Kaprizov with 2 assists was good. Eriksson Ek involved. They're big guys. They were big in this game. They're just going to need a little bit more come game 2.
All of these round 1 series are compelling matchups. We're going to take a break. When we come back, one of the matchups that everybody's been talking about, the Battle of Ontario. Brady Tkachuk and the Sens taking on Mitch Marner and the Leafs in Toronto. Captain Austin Matthews, yes, please. Highlights are next.
Man, these seats.
Right? I wonder how the other guys are doing.
I spent hours finding a deal on these.
Trash. You should have used Game Time. The easiest way to find only the best deals for the best seats with their Game Time picks. What time is it? Game Time.
Cerakote revolutionized car care with its #1 best-selling rapid ceramic paint sealant. The unmatched gloss, slickness, and shine that you love now comes with an industry-leading 50-wash guarantee.
Introducing Cerakote's next-generation paint sealant, Rapid Ceramic Platinum. Just spray it on and lightly buff it to get incredible shine and professional results that will help your car stay cleaner longer. Look at the difference. With over 60,000 5-star reviews, you can trust Cerakote. Buy today for under $20.
My name is Mike Hammond, founder of Signa Relief. Much of my career has been working in construction. I love outdoors and horses. That active lifestyle is what has caused my body to hurt. I didn't want to let this affect my family or my life, and that's what motivated me to create a team to build the Signa Relief Patch, clinically proven to reduce the impact of pain. The patch is a game changer. No creams, no pills, no wires. The patch is reusable and there's a real money-back guarantee. Whether it's your neck, back, knee, shoulder, or just aches and pains, this patch can give you your life back. When I gave my best friend a patch with tears in his eyes, he said it was the first time in 16 years he did not hurt. Join the hundreds of thousands who found relief. I'm asking you to try the Signa Relief Patch today by going to our website. If you're thinking about buying, it means you need one. You have nothing to lose. I promise the patch works.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge is back.
Oh, yeah, baby!
And now it's time to take your shot. Face off against family and friends and see if you can predict this year's playoffs. Can you pick the perfect bracket and claim the ultimate prize? A trip to a 2025-26 NHL event. Sign up today for a chance to win exclusive prizes at NHL.com/bracket.
With 4imprint, you get more than promo products. You get the certainty of personal service, design expertise, and unmatched quality to make your moment shine. Be 4imprint certain at 4imprint.com.
4imprint for certain.
This is the one who keeps it moving. He stocks the right parts and knows just where to find them. Because this is about more than business. The industrial grade products you need. Call, click, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nice Oakleys, Stipe. Where'd you get them?
GovX.com.
Man, I gotta get me one of those. Where'd you get it?
GovX.com.
Hey, Stipe, nice boots. Where'd you get those?
GovX.com. Use it. Exclusive deals for first responders, military, and law enforcement only at GovX.com.
Wednesday, Team USA begins their hunt for a gold medal.
The Americans strike first
when they face off with Czechia at the 2025 U18 Men's World Championship. Wednesday, 8 Eastern on NHL Network.
We start game one. Battle of Ontario. That atmosphere is as great as it looks. And inside the building, hunger since 1967. Brady Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, the big names ready to roll, Linus Ullmark, and Anthony Stolarz. They would all figure prominently. We start 2 minutes into the first. Nick Robertson battling in the corner.
Just a real good finish getting on the Finnish defense and there Montepallo.
7 minutes played in the first. Watch Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Time, space, goal.
Well, this is a really transition opportunity for Toronto. Look at the play by Marner right there. Bringing the puck into the offensive zone, waiting, creating space. You know, the extra shimmy was all it needed to open up lane. 4 against 3, OEL above the pad.
Midway through the first, Leafs applying pressure. And there it goes, or did it? Close.
Järnkrok with a swat at the puck, but not able to get it in. But another good straight line type play from the Maple Leafs.
And another great scoring chance. Mitch Marner, 2-0.
Marner's ability to hold on to the puck here to get as close to the goaltender Linus Ullmark as he wants is really something pretty cool. Nice little grab of the puck brought up. Here comes Marner. He's streaking down the ice. Waits. Look how tight he is. And he's feigning left. He goes over the glove. Back to his right.
Under 4 to go. Ottawa down by a pair, but that changes. Keep an eye on Drake Batherson, staying after it, 2-1.
Drake Batherson is going to get the rebound off of the Dylan Cousins shot. Stolarz doesn't seem to completely get it. Give also the veteran, one of the real good veterans with playoff experience, credit in David Perron to get it going. But watch Stolarz right here. He's going to get it, doesn't feel it, loses it, and then when it goes in, you can tell, oh, no, I didn't need to do that.
To the second period. Just 1 minute in, watch Brady Tkachuk coming in hot. Big save.
Remember that save because it's 2-1 at this time. Ottawa done well in the first period, Tom. You know, it's down 2-0. They almost get a 2-2, but then, well, we'll get to that in a moment.
Exactly. So Toronto up 2-1, and then a penalty called right here. That's Tim Stützle.
First call of the game there. Stützle didn't love it. Maple Leafs are happy to get on the power play.
And it didn't last long. John Tavares, that's 3-1, their first PPG.
You know what? If you really have to appreciate the simplicity of this. Tavares goes up high to be an outlet valve, and then all he does is a little leg kick, picks it up, and watch the heel of his stick get the puck here. Ullmark, because the puck is high off the shoulder, can't corral the rebound. Tavares puts it in. That's a real bad penalty by Ridley Gregg.
Yep. 2 penalties in just over a minute.
Here's a chance for Toronto. Nylander. Fire! Score! It's absolute bedlam inside and outside the arena here in Toronto.
Nylander picks up the puck off the faceoff, comes to the middle, and understands that nobody can gap on him. Sanderson's got to respect the pass to the side. That leaves middle ice open. Ullmark gets beat blocker side. Nice shot from Willie Nylander.
Delayed penalty situation, and Stolarz, it's loose in front and put away. Ridley Gregg
comes back in. Here's good movement by the Ottawa Senators. They get bodies to the front of the net. Gregg waits above the pile. He doesn't get too close to the netminder Stolarz for the rebound.
Just 5 minutes into the third period, and the Leafs get one from deep. Morgan Rielly, perimeter.
Yeah, right after, we're talking 45 seconds after Ridley Greig had scored. This goal's going to go in. Watch the glove right there of Highmore. He's trying to just extend to try and stop the puck. It ends up being, when I say a bad mistake, an unfortunate mistake right there, off the glove, past Ullmark.
More Leafs offense? Yes, please, they say. Matthew Nyes, 6-2, another power play strike.
Yeah, hard guy to contain in front of the net. Had a fantastic season with 29. Here he's going to get to the front. Again, appreciate the simplicity of this. We all love zip it around power plays. We love how gorgeous they can be. But sometimes when you execute like this, get the puck, move the puck, shoot it with traffic in front, get a rebound, it's equally as beautiful, if not more so.
It was very, very competitive coming down the stretch, and by competitive I mean hitting and extra stuff like this for the last few minutes. And Garrett Rank at one point had to rattle off about 14 different numbers for penalties and got it all done. Stolarz gets the hug. Toronto gets a decisive 6-2 win in Game 1. Plenty of messages sent. Mitch Marner, a 3-point night for the guy who's going to be a UFA and is going to make a fortune and has earned it. Here he is post-game with Kyle Bukauskas.
Well, Mitch, you were pretty young the years when the Battle of Ontario and the playoffs felt like tradition. So what was it like to live it in person here tonight?
Yeah, you knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. Like I talked about before this game, yesterday, that they got a lot of skill. They got special teams over there. If you give them a lot of opportunities or looks, they can really score. So, it wasn't an easy game. We just stuck to our game plan and it worked out. A couple great tip plays. Willie just walking off the wall there. Johnny with the tip play as well. So, just trying to get to the net as quick as we can. Worked out tonight. We'll look into it more and just try to keep getting better. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought we did a good job of trying to stay out of the stuff. Just focus on our game and focus on what we can control. And, it's only going to get harder from here. So we just got to make sure we regroup tomorrow, see what we can even do a little better and, take it to the next game.
It's clear as day what the issue was. We took too many penalties. They scored on it. And that's the game. So that's on us. We got to be more disciplined. I think everybody's first game, jitters, nerves, whatever you want to call it, now that that's passed, that doesn't change the mindset. Obviously frustrated, but at the end of the day, it's a new game. And learn from mistakes, learn from different things. So had chances to score, and we'll have video to go over.
Mitch sent him home happy. I loved what he said, stay out of this stuff. He was in the middle of great stuff for them offensively. You pointed out just before that 102-point regular season, then 3 points in this one. The Four Nations stuff, it's a good time to be him.
It is. Coming through at the right time. If, not just about the contract, but in particular for his team here
Absolutely.
in the playoffs, too, because last year, how many points did he have?
3.
Exactly. He had 3 in 7 games against the Bees, and here he has 3 in the first game. And I also got to think that Toronto has just got to appreciate, oh, wait a second, we're starting at home, and it's not against the Boston Bruins. We don't need to worry about them at all. And this was an outstanding atmosphere, but what I really liked about it was how composed this Leaf team was. Take a look at Mitch Marner's numbers. If you look at his career playoff splits. But, Tone, what I really liked, I want to go back to that comment. They were controlled. They didn't get caught up in any of the garbage that was going to put them into a bad spot, because Ottawa's got a great offensive team themselves, and if they want to get into they're comfortable. They're fine getting into a 5-4 type game. Mm-hmm. They're good. You could say so is Toronto, but Toronto this year, they've tried to get away from that under Craig Berube. They want to play in a 3-2-2-1 type game because that's what playoff hockey is going to be all about when said and done. So I felt like all of a sudden we saw the veteranness, if there's such a term as that, the veteran, I've been through it before type attitude coming from Toronto versus the young guns, the young bucks, so to speak, of the Ottawa Center, saying, no, we're going to show you how good we are, and we're going to do it by being physical. We're going to be ultra aggressive. Took some bad penalties. It got them out of their game, got them out of their rhythm. So it's just one game. I do look for Ottawa to reset and settle down just a little bit more. It wasn't like Ottawa didn't get some chances, especially in the first 2 periods, Tone, especially at 5-on-5. They got themselves handed power or penalty kill goals against because they took too many penalties they didn't need to.
Let's get into that, because Scott Stevens sat at this desk, and at the start of the playoffs one year, he said, guys run around and do things they haven't done the whole year. the identity of the Ottawa Senators in this game, the bad penalties. Talk us through it.
Well, look, Stützle's trying to get on the forecheck here. He ends up hitting from behind a little bit. I actually am like, okay, that one right there from Ridley Gregg. I'm not sure what you're doing. The cross check, that's a point of emphasis the last 2 seasons. Vulnerable spot. There were some battles that you said, well, wait a second, it wasn't meant, but overall, those middle 2 penalties are the ones that I'm really focused on right there. The cross-check to the head of Tavares. You're lucky almost that it's not a major penalty. What are you doing right there?
Initially, right?
They did. They utilized the system as they should because there was contact with the head, at least what they thought. They talked about it. Then they went to review, felt that it was probably more shoulder than that. But what are you doing raising your stick so much like that, especially in the ozone? You got to just simplify it. Because everybody's so excited, because Ottawa has most of their players who have never played in a playoff game, especially in a playoff game of this magnitude against their arch rival. I mean, you got to understand that there's going to be some moments of what just happened, right? In the meantime, maybe you'll learn from this one game and get reset for game 2. That's my expectation.
The Ottawa Senators, last time they were in the playoffs, 2017, got all the way to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final, lost in double OT. The only guy who's been here since then, Thomas Chabot. Let's hear from Willie Nylander post-game. That guy's always cool.
Yeah, it's physical like it's expected to be in the playoffs. But yeah, a lot of fun. Great atmosphere, and I mean, just 2 good teams playing. That's what playoffs is all about. Look, it's one game. I don't think that, it's nice to get 6 goals, I think, to start off a series. But I mean, it's on to the next game. They're going to come out hotter. So, 6 goals isn't every time you're going to score 6 goals.
So this time of year, one of the things that strikes me, and we've talked about this before, the mental makeup of guys. Willie Nylander was born to play in big games because he's just a cool breeze all the time. And I like the word you used, veteranness of these Toronto Maple Leafs and the way Craig Berube has built them for this time of the year. You made a great point earlier about playing 3-2, playing 2-1. We heard it the whole season. They ended up winning game 1 6-2, but they had what you're talking about, that veteranness.
Yeah, they had their composure. They had
poise.
Their poise. They played a lot more to their identity, right? Than and again, the power plays were not fancy goals. They were. I love the decisiveness on the power play. Like I love here. It's 5-on-3. I love Nylander not overpassing it. Or even one pass would have been too many. There, he's in the middle of the ice. You always say, take the best shot. You've got the puck in between the dots. Take it, and he did just there. Your point about him is you take a look at the last 15 games in the playoffs. I mean, he's been money for them. He has been spectacular. Now you've got guys, Nylander, Marner. You mentioned a few minutes ago about the Four Nations success there. Matthews, he's been, he didn't have as many goals this year. He was still pretty darn good. Battling injuries, we know, not all season, but a lot of the season. He had success at Four Nations, too. I know he was on the ice for the game-winning goal against, but you could look at a defenseman, too, that perhaps didn't take the right route there. I digress. Point is this. They've all now been through a ton of big games. Mm-hmm. They have only gotten to the second round, one time. However, again, this is now, if this isn't their time, when is their time going to be? And I think the stewardship of Craig Berube being behind the bench, he's stoic, he's passionate, but he's not out of control, I think has been really good for them. And if Chief says something, you're going to listen. You're not going to argue with that guy. And so I feel like they've learned from him an awful lot.
So game 1 goes to the Leafs. We're going to take a break here on NHL Tonight. When we come back, the New Jersey Devils, game 1 against the Canes. Brett Pesce used to be a much friendlier house to him. Highlights from the early game. Next.
Playoffs are a time to sharpen your focus and get your game face on.
In the playoffs, it's such a vacuum and you're so focused.
Get your game face on. NHL Now playoff coverage, weekdays 5 Eastern on NHL Network.
Carl never really thought much of his credit scores until he got Credit Karma and used his scores to score more. Like this less humble abode. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on. Download the app today.
Stay tuned to get an instant $20 discount on Paisano. Introducing Paisano, the authentic pizza oven by Granite Stone. Now make the world's most delicious pizza with real stone right in your own home. You simply set it and let it make golden, crispy, extra cheesy stone-baked pies in under 6 minutes. Pepperoni, mushroom, Hawaiian, barbecue. All hot, fresh, and easy to do with Paisano. The secret is the dual-controlled heat zones that quickly heat the real ceramic stone up to 800 degrees while melting the cheese and crisping the crust so you can stone bake just like the pros in under 6 minutes. Look, take any pizza dough, sauce, add your favorite toppings, and you're making gourmet pizza with Paisano. Paisano lets you create large, specialty, family-sized pies, meat lovers, taco, breakfast, stuffed crust, even chocolate dessert pies. Plus, you can watch them rise right before your eyes. And unlike soggy oven pies, Paisano pizza comes out extra crispy. Even bake your favorite frozen pies in a fraction of the time. Plus, there's no gas, wood, or charcoal needed. Paisano is electric, plug-in, and portable. Look, you'd expect to pay over $500 for a professional pizza oven, but you can get the complete Paisano pizza oven system, plus professional peels, the Stone Safe cleaner, and the authentic recipe guide for the special TV discount price of just $119.99. But to really fire up this deal, we'll give you an instant $20 discount. You get it all, an incredible value for just $99.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. So call or go online now to get yours.
Call 1-800-382-3056. That's 1-800-382-3056 or go to buypaisano.com. So call 1-800-382-3056 or go online to buypaisano.com.
It will always bring us together. It might even surprise us. But more often than not, it's a daily commitment.
Not again!
Of believing. Of dreaming. And trusting that no matter where you are, it's with you.